This video covers all things intuition, and video is very long. It's actually 3 videos crunched together from a course that I used to have. This is week 9 out of 12, and this course was all about self-love and inner peace and healing codependency and breaking relational patterns. Now, this course used to be $3,000. It's 100% free on YouTube. If you haven't watched weeks 1 through 8, I highly recommend it. But this video, we're diving into all things intuition. Not only will you learn a lot, but I also guide you through certain processes to actually connect with your intuition in real time and to build that relationship with your channel, your body, so that you can hear the whispers of your heart more clearly. Oh, I do want to say one thing as well. Be sure to check down below, and there's a link to a Google Doc that has all the show notes. In the later part of this video, which is actually video number 3, I talk about some charts and some images that I put into the course, so you can check all of that out down in the description below. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Kevin Crenshaw. I go by the Heart Guy, and I help people with matters of the heart. Your intuition is a big part of that, and so I'm excited to bring this to you. And if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to do so. Share this with a friend. This is free. I'm trying to share the good stuff in YouTube land. I don't want just more education. I want real tangible stuff that you can do, and that's what this course has been, and that's what this course continues to be, and I'm just really excited to put this out in the world in YouTube land. So without further ado, here's me from 2019. And we know inherently that we should listen to our intuition, but how do you do it? How do you make that voice louder? We've already talked about dealing with your inner critic and a bunch of other stuff, but this one is really about quieting the monkey mind, your brain, from going all these crazy things, and listening to your heart, listening to the whispers of the universe to then follow that and get the life that you want. You know you should listen to your intuition. We always know our intuition is right. And so this video is going to be talking about how to make that voice a little bit louder and trust it more. And then also how to use your words to create the life you want versus maybe just bypassing it. Our words are very powerful, and I want to share with you on why so that is. You probably may or may not be aware of that, but it's a very important tool to use to create new neurological connections in your brain to things. You know, a lot of this program in the beginning, we dealt with healing trauma and releasing past conditioning. This right here is about implementing new conditioning, and how can you, because you always have conditioning. We always are conditioned for something, but is your conditioning conductive to the life you want and your new love story, or is it hindering you? So even though we've done a lot of healing, we did a lot of the releasing, we did a lot of the cutting cords, like all that stuff. First off, as always, forgiveness is not a one-stop shop. The path of healing is seasonal, so it might come up again. Don't beat yourself up. This isn't like a one and done thing. You now have the tools to then go back and revisit. You have heightened awareness. So there's that. But this is about wiring your nervous system and your brain and your thoughts and how you conduct your life to manifest your new love story. Pretty exciting stuff. So we're going to dive into it. Now, intuition. Cool. Let's define intuition first. That is to understand immediately without need for conscious reasoning. That's like your gut feeling. That's a pretty epic definition, to understand something immediately without a need for conscious reasoning. Now, you know what your intuition is. It's your gut feeling. We know we need to listen to our intuition, but how often do we just kind of bypass it? We say, oh, well, no, maybe. We let our reasoning then get in the way, and then something bad happens, and we're like, I knew it! When, you knew from the beginning. So how then can you trust that voice? Because the interesting thing about your intuition is it almost never makes sense. And that's exactly when you need to listen to it. Is when it doesn't make sense, you're going to, okay, well, I guess I'm going to do this. And you need, a lot of this video is about aligning yourself to listen to the whispers of your heart before things just explode in your face. Because your voice is always, or your heart is always having a voice, and it just whispers. It doesn't really yell at you. And so you really want to make sure that you are aware of that voice and you listen to that feeling. And for some people it's a voice, for some people it's a feeling, for some people it's a knowing. We all have different flavors of how it's expressed, our intuition and our gut. But you got to listen. And because it's quiet, that means you have to have a somewhat quiet mind. If things are always freaking chaotic, there's no way you're going to even be able to hear your intuition. So you're just dabbling in more chaos and drama, which drama is just trauma waiting to be seen and healed and released. So are you indulging in a bunch of nonsense drama all the time? Because then you're linking things to being powerful. You're feeling something when you have a strong opinion about something, or you're getting into things. You're stirring the pot. But do you want to live in a dramatic state all the time? If you do, great. It might cause a little bit of stress because you're suppressing what you really want, which is maybe, I don't know, peace. There's that side of yourself too. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a time and a place for drama. There's a time and a place for standing up for yourself. But I would much rather just have inner peace and know that, that's drama. I'm not going to go there. Just not going to do it. I value myself and my own emotional freedom and my own emotional state enough that I don't want to get put in that stress because they're over there stressing, talking about stuff, or it's just nonsense. I'm going to focus on what matters. And hey, maybe that means me. Something to think about. But with all of this, listening to the whispers of your heart, now, especially when it doesn't make sense, I want to share with you guys 2 stories on my life on how it made absolutely no fucking sense. But I listened to my intuition, and I'm so glad that I did. You can never connect the dots looking forwards. You can only connect them looking backwards. Right? And so it's really important to decipher that quote right there. Like, you can't connect the dots looking forward, but how often do we try to project into the future and connect the dots? And that gets in the way of listening to your intuition, because your intuition is what's going to guide you towards what you're focusing on, what you want. And it really just wants freedom. So I was living in Memphis, Tennessee. My parents had just separated. My dad was in the hospital. My mom was really struggling. I was in college. I dropped out of college and I left to move to Dallas, Texas. Why? I don't know. But I knew that if I needed to get out of there. I just knew I needed to get out of Memphis. I just knew it didn't belong. Something felt off. Why Dallas? I don't even fucking know. People said why. I was like, well, everybody from Texas loves Texas, so I'm just going to go try it on for a little bit. Or I was like, I just want to see a big city. I still to this day, I know now why, looking at the instances, but back then, I had no idea why Dallas. Dallas just popped in my head. Hey, move to Dallas. Okay. I sold everything. I cut my lease. I left my job. I left school. And I left everybody that I knew and my family to move to a city where I knew nobody. Kevin, that takes a lot of guts. No, I just listened to my intuition and I trusted that I was going to be okay. And 2 years in Dallas. Well, first, I got there and I was homeless for 6 months. Now, from the outside looking in, I was sleeping out of my car, I was really struggling. And I never once thought about moving back. I knew I was supposed to be there, and I just listened to that, and I was like, okay, something wants me here. Well, some relationships that I had while I was in Dallas definitely taught me a lot about myself and a lot about women, for that matter, in a good way. And the job that I got at Equinox, because I was doing group fitness, and it's a high-end gym, I got that job there with them, and the people that I met, the friends that I met, taught me a lot about life. I learned a lot about the struggle and the hustle and how to break out of that. I also built extreme discipline, right? Just revving that engine and just going hard. And I have a really strong discipline muscle now. And, there's a season for it. And then there wasn't, because I got a similar gut feeling. Your time here is up. Oh, what? Okay. And it was a knowing. It wasn't a voice, right? But for me, it's more of a knowing. Just like, you're done here. And then I was like, okay, well, what's calling me? And I sat with that for 2 days, and there was no one city standing out. And I was talking with a friend, and she was like, why don't you just travel the world? And I was like, I could do that, couldn't I? And that's exactly what I did. 5 days later, I had sold everything, cut my lease, left my job, packed a suitcase, got a one-way flight to Toronto. Why Toronto? Because I had friends there. I don't know. And I just traveled for a year with no plan. And it was one of the best learning experiences of my entire life. And again, made no fucking sense, right? Had a great job. I had my own apartment. I had a lot of friends in Dallas. I was safe and comfortable, but something was like, nah, leave. Okay. And I've always had that just trust in my gut to do what feels right. And then was in LA. This LA was supposed to be a pit stop. Then I was going to go to Greece and Croatia. Come on now. But I didn't because something in me was like, nope, anchor in. Time to build. And I was like, okay. So I got my apartment that I'm in now, and I've ever since then been building, and until my time here is up, then I'll listen. But I think it's because I have that very still, I'm a discerning mind of the voices, if you call them, the feelings that I have. I can really know what's my gut and what's my intuition and what's just fear, right? I can know what's my heart, not my hurt. And it's led me to some amazing things, some amazing experiences, and I've learned a lot. Now, you could say, Kevin, that looks like you just fucked up your life. From the outside, sure, I could have said that, but I knew for me it felt right, and that's all I knew. And I actually, ironically, was calling my mom from Santa Monica Beach, overlooking the ocean during my meditation. It just hit me. I was like, you should reach out to people today instead of just meditating to yourself. And so I called a lot of good friends and my parents and, just connected. And she just talked for like 2-3 minutes and was going on and on about how happy she is that I'm happy. Because that's all she ever wanted for me was to be happy. And she has the awareness of that. She almost like disowned me when I left college, like quite literally. She was pissed because she was like, she never finished and she wanted me to finish and all these things. And, my dad never really knew what I was doing until I told him how much money I was making, and I told him how well I was doing, and that I had, what the impact I was doing, and I was traveling the world, like sharing what I did in front of people on stages. And he was like, he still doesn't know, but he's like, whoa, okay, cool. Like, it seems like you're doing stuff and you seem happy, so I'm happy for you. Now, I honor my parents and I respect my parents so much because they have the awareness that maybe what they wanted for me, they just wanted me to be happy. But the flavor, what it looked like in terms of go to college and get a 9-to-5 job, or go to college and build a brick and mortar business like my dad did, or whatever it was, they ultimately, at the end of the day, just wanted me to be happy. And both of them expressed to me today how happy and proud of, happy for me that I'm happy, and proud of me that they are for me. And it was interesting because for like 5 years, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And they were worrying about me constantly, but I was just trusting my intuition, man. And that's what I'm gonna keep doing because it's my life, not theirs. And, we value our parents or our friends or our loved ones' opinions so much when really at the end of the day, they're projecting how they think you should be happy from what they would make, what would make them happy, right? Well, I just followed my intuition, and here we are. You're listening to this video. You've gone through 9 weeks of True Love Accelerator. You're changing your life because of me following my intuition. Now, I think that's pretty powerful stuff, right? Now, you also have that same power. That could then start a chain reaction for you to change somebody else's life just because you listen to your intuition. Your heart is always guiding you, but it's up to you to listen to it. Another one was as I launched The Heart Guy and True Love Accelerator and all these things, going and doing events, business coaches. Been burnt a lot by a lot of business coaches just because, I don't know much. I didn't know much about business. I knew a lot about healing modalities, and I knew I had a big heart, and I was just like wanting to go out there and do it. But hey, at the end of the day, like, it is a business, and so I need to learn how to do this and market right and all these crazy things that I knew nothing about and didn't really care about, but I knew that that's how I would then reach more people. So business coach after business coach was just pissing away money and with no ROI, nothing returned. And I just kept getting burnt. I've probably spent, at the time of me recording this, over $50,000 on business coaches and advice. And the ROI that I've gotten on it hasn't been from them. What was interesting was because I sat with, and I'm going to give you guys some homework here on how to listen to your intuition and have that discerning voice. And I sat with it, and I was like, my intuition said yes, but I still fucked it up after so many people that I was going through. But you know what expensive lesson I learned? Was that my intuition and doing what feels good to me, and knowing that I was trying to look for answers from other people when I know what to do. And I can figure it out myself, and sure, I might have another business coach in the future, but it taught me that a lot about business with them, but the value they were giving me wasn't direct. Like I didn't get a direct like return on it. Sure, I learned some things from them and it was great, but like no money back, which is why I fired them all. And you could look at that going, oh, well, you're failing, like you're such a failure. Like, no, I think because of all those experiences, it drove so much depth into me and confidence that this company, True Love Accelerator, the Heart Gang, it's LLC, the Heart Guy, me, it's like quite literally my child. And I was trying to hand it off to other people to have them scale it instead of me taking the driver's seat because I don't think I'm enough and blah, 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 blah. I learned all of that because I went through those failure experiences with all those coaches. Why am I telling you guys this? My intuition didn't make sense. But I'm so glad that I listened. Because if I didn't listen, I would probably be living in Memphis, Tennessee, designing video games with the same group of friends that I grew up with, and very close-minded. You wouldn't be listening to this video or seeing any of my content or having your life change the way that it is. And I would still be that shy kid that didn't really talk to anybody, extreme social anxiety. I really do believe like that's what would probably happen. Also with the business coaching thing, you probably would not be watching this at all because of the lessons that I learned from them. And again, not directly from them, but the lessons that I learned in the experience about myself and about what I have to offer to the world and how it is so different and how I just saw things from a new perspective because of those failed experiences. You know, so even if it doesn't make sense, even if you look back and you're like, fuck, I fucked that up. Well, did you really? What did you learn through that experience? Because that's where the win is. So after, I felt like a fucking failure sleeping out of my car in Dallas, Texas. And then I got my own place and then I left again, traveled the world. And when I decided to move to LA, I couch surfed for 6 months. Fuck, here you are again. Right? But I'm so grateful that I did because of the friends that I met in that experience. And then also, I just learned a bunch about, what I'm here to do. Because I could have done anything. And I decided to do this. You see the benefit of it all, but you don't really see it in the moment. I could have said I was a failure, and then that would have then created my reality. I would have believed that I was a failure, and then I fucked everything up, and then I was just messing it all up. I could have believed that, and I could have said that, and then you wouldn't be watching. And I reframed it. I said, wow, okay, I'm just following my intuition. Don't know where I'm going. I'm quite literally blind here. This just feels good, and I'm just going to do this. This is what I know is right for me. And I just followed that to the nth fucking degree. And I'm so glad that I did. And I look back, and I'm like, what a fucking wild ride. Would I do it again? Fuck no. But I wouldn't have it in any other way. Because it sculpted me into the person that I am today. And I'm going to continue to do that till the day I die. Because I know that that's what gives me the most growth in character. And Kevin fucking Crenshaw, who I am as a person, has been developed from me following my intuition. Because your heart sometimes will even seek out people or opportunities or places or experiences to refine you. You'll seek out and you'll cause something, a struggle, a negative quote-unquote relationship, to learn a certain lesson. Your heart wants to grow and expand, so it'll call in that stuff. Now, if it's just a cycle and all you're doing is suffering and you're doing the same thing over and over again, we've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. You guys are great. And you've already somewhat relieved yourself of that, right? Unless there's still something you're holding on to, but I highly doubt it after everything we've done. And so just know that there will be things that are seasonal. You'll go into anxiety again. You'll be confused again. You'll have some old patterns pop up. That's part of life. But then you have the tools on how to discern and how to have higher awareness and how to break those patterns and choose different. That's really where the work is, if you haven't figured out in this program, is the day-to-day, like when you experience some of your old stuff popping up or you experience the fear, you have your triggers, you have that voice of your intuition, what you choose then is the work of this program. It's not just the videos, it's not just the homework, or even the community, which is a big part of it. It's day-to-day living. So I'm giving you guys the tools then on how to create it. Now, your intuition's not going to make sense, but you have to just trust that life is working for you and life is supporting you. Life is not against you, and that's just a narrative that you have in your head. If you believe that life is going to be hard, it will be. If you believe life is easy, it will be. If you believe life is a punishment or a test, it will be. If you believe life is beautiful and so full of love, it will be. That's how strong your belief system is. And through a lot of this, like saying, calling yourself a fuck up or whatever it is, your words are very powerful in entrapping you in a certain conditioning. Now, again, it is an entrapment because you're then sticking to that narrative. But is it something that you chose because of a trauma, out of a low place, or are you choosing from a high vibration, choosing from a higher consciousness and a higher awareness on what you want your conditioning to be? Because that's designing your life and that's creating your life. So, few things, then we're going to get to homework for this video. There are other videos in this week, but I want you to list out 10 times where you knew you should have done something and then you didn't. 10 times. You had your intuition, your gut said, don't do it, and you did it, or do it, and you passed up. And the interesting thing about that is, like, this is not to beat yourself up. This is just awareness of, like, wow, okay, like, yeah, I see. And we can never know the other option. That's the thing. We can spend all this time wondering, like, okay, well, what if this, and then what if that? And we can never know the outcome. We just have to do what's right and trust. We're trying to, like, project out into the future and project out into the future and then make sure and have certainty when there's not really any. It's an illusion. So what's true is being honoring and respecting yourself so much that you're going to do what feels right for yourself and not clinging to a story or clinging to an outcome that you want to happen, because that's then trying to take control versus controlling your decisions from your heart. It's a little bit different, right? Now, so you're going to list out 10 times where you didn't listen to your intuition. Then you're going to list out 10 times where you did. And look at how rewarding that was for you. Maybe even in a negative way, you learned somehow a lesson. Maybe just now learned it through this program. But you learned the lesson, and that alone is worth the negative experience that you had. That's called life. It's called a roller coaster. Hello. You want to experience all the emotions? Or do you want to be like cold-hearted? Nah, you've been there, done that. You're past it now. So jot those down. You can pause me if you want to and then do that, or you can do it after the video. But a good book on this, by the way, is listening to your inner voice in your heart that whispers to you, is The Alchemist. If you have not read the book The Alchemist, you need to. It talks about, I think he called it your North Star or something like that, your inner guide. But anyway, it's been a while since I've read the book, but it is really good about just listening and trusting to your intuition, and that, like, life is going to happen for you. It's going to be a wild ride, but it's always happening for you. But that's a choice that you get to choose. Just like if you think that something's going to be hard, you'll make it hard. If you think something's going to be easy, you'll make it easy, because your brain wants to be in alignment with that belief. Kindergarten basics, we covered this on week 2. I think, or week 1, maybe, but I'm just reminding you, like, it really is that powerful. So now, your homework is how to actually listen to your intuition, and how do you know if you're making the right choice? Because your decisions move you to your destiny, and you created it in the beginning of this program with your new love story, right? Like, that's what you want. And even if you get it and then you realize, oh, fuck, like, that wasn't what I wanted, that's okay. Refine your new love story. I have like 5 times, because every experience has taught me something more about what I want and what I don't want. And that's great. Cool. I'm moving forward. So destiny, what you want. Okay. Decisions are going to get you there. Now, you want to make decisions based on how you feel, and have to have freedom to express yourself, and freedom to, have peace of mind and sleep easy because you know you're in the right place, you're doing the right thing. That's just a feeling, which means you have to follow the feeling. So this is a tool that you're going to use when you're confronted with something and you don't really know what you should do. There's a lot of fear, your hurt is acting up, your inner critic is speaking, you're just, what the fuck? I don't know. Use this. It's called asking your heart. 3 steps, and they're written below. Number 1, you're going to list out all of the options, or all the outcomes. So there's a decision to be made, and you want to make sure you're making the right decision. List out all of them. Most of the time, it's more than 2. Because a lot of times we get into this thing like, okay, I'm either going to leave this person or stay with this person. Well, there's multiple outcomes, because you could leave this person and then for a time come back around and still talk again. You could stay with them but then build more parameters. Like, there's usually more options than just 2. We're just so blind to it because we think life is black and white, and it's not. So really sit with all of the options that you can create. What could I create from this? What all decisions do I really have? And give yourself credit for what you could then create, okay? So you're gonna, number 1, list out all of the options. You're actually gonna write them down or type them out. Then, you're gonna place your hands on your heart. Number 2, you place your hands on your heart. You'll take a few deep breaths, and one by one, you're going to close your eyes and pan out that decision. So, the decision could be leaving somebody. Cool, hands on your heart, and you're gonna see what that looks like, and just let your mind wander and trust that it's going to know what that's going to look like if you were to leave. Long term, like try to go a year out and just be creative with it. Trust that your heart knows the answer on what that would look like, and then focus though on the feeling. And then you're going to pan out the other, and then you're shake it out. A few deep breaths, hand over your heart, feel out the other one, feel out the other one, feel out the other one. Then number 3 is the decision. Which one feels right? Now, there's a few ways different people feel different on this one. I get like a little bit like butterflies in my stomach. My heart quite literally feels lighter. For me, it's a deep sense of knowing. Other people, it's a little bit different. So for me, I'm just like, yeah, that feels right. I'm going to do that. And again, your mind is going to come in. Oh, that doesn't make sense. Like, fuck that. Okay. That's not what we're after. We already know your brain is, to some regard, the enemy here. Your heart is what's going to give you a life of freedom and love and passion and self-expression and inner peace. You'll be able to sleep at night. You'll be able to have less stress if you listen to your heart. So, which one feels right? And you could say 3 things on this. Like, if it has this deep inner sense of peace, it's just like, yeah, peace is the biggest way that you can discern what's right. Now, that may mean chaos, because you pan it out and your heart starts beating because of, oh my God, like what if, or whoa, that's going to ruffle some feathers, that's going to like mess things up, whatever it is, right? And just, but you know what? Like panning it out long term, that just, there's some peace there. Or you can almost audibly hear yes, or there's your whole body just is like this fuck yes feeling, right? That's the one you should go for. Or you get another thing, it just feels good. It just feels right. But coming from a higher place. Now, a lot of this stuff could be yes, it could be, ooh, peaceful, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. Or it could be, ooh, this just really feels good, in a lower vibration. That's why you meditate on this and pan it out long term, because you're not looking after the short term sugar rush of eating a donut. You're looking at the long term detriment of maybe, I don't know, feeling like shit afterwards for a few hours, and maybe sitting on the toilet for a lot longer than you need to because you ate a donut and it fucked up your system. You know what I mean? It's literally looking at the long term and then making the decision based on that. And it's also using your heart to make the decisions and not your brain or your quite sometimes your inner child. It's just kind of like, oh, I want it, right? Or even a hurt, maybe. And your hurt's you're just trying to avoid the pain. Like, sometimes you got to put some heart into it, right? You guys already know. So that's how you can discern, decipher. The other piece of homework is in order to listen to your intuition, you kind of have to be still and be quiet. You can't always, we can't always be doing and doing and doing, so crazy, doing and doing, and then listening to our intuition. That, it's very masterful to be able to do that. It's taken me 7 years to be moving very fast and just in a split second know what I should be doing and be so in tune with spirit in that way. But that's taken years of work. how I started was meditations and just being. So I'm saying meditations, but for you guys, because you're a little bit different, because you're part of the Heart Gang, you're gonna be for 10 minutes. And that's just be aware and be present with your senses, because you're needing yourself, right? So be aware of your senses. What are you feeling? Feel your breath coming through your lips. You can feel gravity, but just feel and be present with all of your senses. In doing that, you just honor yourself, and you remind yourself, oh wait, be. It's who I am, not what I do. 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 Beats, right? But just 10 minutes a day, and I want you to put it in your calendar. 10 minutes a day, you're going to be for 10 minutes. And you could be meditating, whatever, but all it is be present to your heart's guidance. Week 9, video 2. This is the archetype of your magician, your creator, or your manifester. We're talking about the power of your words and your throat and your voice. You guys already knew that, but it really is important to own your voice and have discernment on what is your voice actually saying, what are you saying, and not just what you're thinking, but what are you saying, because your language matters, all right? And we're going to be talking a lot about that. Now, before we go into a lot about your words, I just want you to, this is, for a lot of people, a very new archetype, if you will, because we've talked about, your inner child. We've talked about your sage. We've talked about your warrior. And now we're talking about your intuition and your magician, right? Which for a lot of people, it's almost like this thing that we don't know that we're as powerful as we are. So this is kind of new for us, of like, whoa, I'm my problem and my solution, which is the magician and the creator manifester. So maybe you don't know a name here, but maybe give it an animal, like the powerful person that can create something from nothing. What is that for you? For me, it's a dragon, like a long, snaky dragon. I don't know why, it just popped in my head and I'm rolling with it. But every time that I almost tap into that energy, I can, okay, cool, I know what I want to create. It's already fucking in me. I'm just going to, here it is. That's this video. In the notes, getting my notes together, tapped into my magician. Cool, what am I going to create? Because, hey, I'm just going to trust that it's right for you guys, and I'm going to trust that I have all the answers to my heart already. And then now here we are. You like those sound effects? I love them too. Anyway, that's your magician. And I want you to give it an animal or a name. You could be the priestess. You could be whatever you want to, sorcerer. I don't know. Have fun with it, because at the end of the day, this should be fun. Which goes into what I was about to say, which is language. Now, that's the power of your words. I just said, this is going to be fun. And for me, it's going to be really fun, because I said it's going to be fun, and I actually believed it. Versus, oh my God, this is so hard. I don't know what to name my magician. I don't know what's the right answer, because I want to be right. No, I said it's going to be easy and it's going to be fun, so it's going to be easy and it's going to be fun, and I'm going to make it that way. That's how powerful your words are. Now, I'm going to dissect that in a second, but I want to touch on something that I discovered from a good friend of mine. Abracadabra. Okay, probably heard of it. Abracadabra. Cadabra, whatever it is. I don't know. I didn't look it up, but my friend told me this, and I thought, whoa. And I trust my friend because he researches the origin of words and loves all of this stuff. So I actually asked him about all this stuff before I recorded the video. He told me that abracadabra is an origin from Hebrew and Aramaic. We actually don't really know the root of the word, but it's an ancient spell and affirmation that has translated to and means I create as I speak, or I create with my words. It's pretty powerful shit. You think magician, abracadabra, but they're creating with their words. That's what it means. It's been popularized in the Western culture as a magician saying or something, right? Or a Pokemon, depending on what era you grew up in. But it's you can actually create with your words. And your language matters. So tell me how you feel. I'm going to say there's 3 different things that I'm going to say, and each thing I'm going to talk about, I'm going to use language, 2 different types of language. So just listen real quick, and I want you to tell me how you feel as I speak these things. I think you're mistaken. I think you're a liar. I like you. I love you. This is really uncomfortable. Oh my God, I'm having a panic attack. Which one is different, right? So the first, for most of these, you're mistaken, you're a liar. You're basically meaning the same thing. The other one's a little bit more of an attack. One word was slightly changed. I like you, I love you. Like, love, right? It's just a higher form of, but hey, that word matters. This is uncomfortable. Oh my God, I'm having a fucking panic attack. Right? You could say, I learned this one from Tony Robbins. He's a good mentor of mine for many years. The dog bit Johnny. The dog bit Johnny, or Johnny bit the dog. So the order also matters of the words that you choose. And the actual words themselves matter because they can create certain things. And I said it in the last video, if you believe that life is hard, it will be. If you believe life is easy, it will be. Now, it's important to have that distinction awareness. I really hope you guys are getting how powerful your words are. So, if you say, I am, or this is, or they are, or you are, it entraps you into that judgment, story, and belief. So, I am depressed. Cool, great. You just told your brain that you're depressed, and you're gonna then follow that narrative, and you literally entrapped yourself into the story. Your diagnosis is not your fucking life sentence. So, it's not my fault. I'm depressed. I have the doctor told me, somebody with a suit told me that I was depressed, and I'm gonna let their judgments on me and my condition control my own reality because they have a paper that says that they're in authority, is what you're saying. Now listen, before you all get triggered, I grew up with extreme social anxiety. I was ADD, sleep apnea, allergies, asthma. I was taking breathing treatments and inhalers every fucking day. I took 8 pills. Remember, 8 pills every fucking morning because of my diagnosis that I was dyslexic, that I had a speech impediment. Oh, really? I had a speech impediment. Great. That I was hyperactive, ADD, ADHD, all of this stuff. I couldn't breathe properly. Hey, guess what? I stopped taking all the medicine. I remember the day I did it, I was like, oh my God, I'm just going to stop taking the shit. And it got worse for about a month. And my grades plummeted because I was still in school, right? And then everything started getting better because I started allowing myself to be in control. And from a really young age, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna focus. I'm gonna train myself to focus. I'm gonna train myself to also calm down at certain instances and then let out. And that was the beginning of me really starting to play with my magician. Because I didn't let somebody else's voice control my beliefs, which is kind of what we're talking about, with the first part of this course, which is healing, right? With your family, with your exes. We've already done the work on that. But what about, I don't know, maybe your friends or doctors, people with a degree or some experience you had with a coworker? I don't know what you're holding on to because of a belief somebody else said about you and you think that they're in authority and maybe they're right. Well, listen, did that come from your hurt or do you know the truth? And you get to decide. But even from your own voice, I am depressed. They are depressed, okay? They are or you are depressed. By you speaking that, maybe even not out loud, your brain will then see that person as depressed or as a narcissist or as beautiful. How you judge or believe somebody to be, your brain is going to seek that out based on a little sliver of an instance that you experience them. And so recognize that too. Like you meet somebody at the club and you're like, this person is absolutely phenomenal. You're going to create that narrative in your story. Or you can back up and be like, okay, they're phenomenal right now. I've known them for like, I don't know, what's it been, an hour and a half? Cool, I'm going to see what happens. But I still don't know this person. I've known them for an hour and a half in the course of my entire fucking life. Ho, perspective. And you know what I mean? Like, don't say that out loud, obviously. But you want to think that, like, dude, okay, I like where this is going. What I'm seeing is great, but I still don't fucking know you. Time always tells the truth. Always. So give it some time. Also, same with you, right? And you're like, okay, well, I've been depressed my entire life, and I'm taking all these pills, and I've been sad, and I've been so chaotic, and I have anxiety, Kevin. The doctors told me I have anxiety. Well, yeah, because you're creating the anxiety again and again and again chemically in your head because you're going back to those places. Or you can choose to believe that life is your own creation and you're in your problem and your own solution. So start asking yourself, what if this could be fun, easy, exciting? I don't know, peaceful? What if this could be fun? What if this could be easy? Instead of this homework being so hard, what if it could be easy? What if my job could be easy? What if interacting with other people could be easy? What would that look like? Versus, oh my God, I have social anxiety. I can't talk to them. Oh my God, they're so beautiful. I can't do it. What if it could be easy as walking up to them, you're a beautiful human being, and then walking away? I don't know. Because you're detached from the outcome and you're just free. What if you could be free? So I'm going to get a little bit, I don't know. I almost didn't put this next part of this video in this course, but I want to let you guys know my intention is not to be super religious on you guys or talk about religion even for that matter. I do want to just hit on something because it's very profound. In the beginning of the Bible, it says, in the beginning was the Word. And then Genesis goes on to explain that God spoke everything into existence and that you are made in her image and that this is how you create your life. So in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, the Word was with God. What? Even that first sentence, okay? Words. And then words spoke things into existence. And then it also says that we are made in God's image. So then can we also have that same creative power? Probably. But you could choose to believe whatever you want to believe, because what you believe is then your reality. I choose to believe that I am in full creative potential of my life and that life happens for me and supports me and that I am able to create. And I'm not a victim to life. I'm able to create my own reality. It's turned out pretty well for me. You can have the same thing for yourself if you want. I'm here to show you how to activate that power in you. Or you can let your conditioning keep you back from that on your past, on what you think is right or wrong, or what you've been believing your entire life can change in a single instant when you decide different. You mean I have the same creative power that created all of this? Yeah, because life belongs to the people who can enroll others in their vision. I had a vision that I could be the heart guy and help people heal their trauma and release conditioning and align to more love and freedom and peace and get the right relationships that they want and actually co-create that with somebody and actually work on themselves and have that freedom. And that's what I've chosen to believe, and it's working well so far. You're here, right? Because of my voice. Even most of you guys talk to either me or somebody else about getting into this program, and you enrolled in the vision of what could be possible for you because you started to believe. You have that same potential, whether that's your love life, your finances, your fitness, your health, what the fuck ever. So your homework from this video is, in addition to the 10 minutes of meditation or beingness that was in the previous video from this week, I want you to speak life into 5 people or things, including yourself, every single day. 5 things. So you're people, okay? People or things. So it could be a project you're working on. It could be traffic. I don't know. It could be somebody, your coworker. It could be your lover. It could be somebody. But I want you to speak a new truth into it. Oh my God, I hate traffic. Versus, okay, I'm going to prepare for traffic and I'm just going to utilize, oh great, I love traffic because it gives me so much time to myself and I get to listen to some podcasts.
I've never had road rage because I don't hate traffic like everybody else told me to. People drive, and it is what it is, and I'm going to get there eventually, and I'm just going to make the most with the time that I have in the car. No, they're idiots. I need to get there. I need to go. That's the doing. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. I gotta do. Versus, ooh, I could just be and enjoy the ride. It'll take me a while, but it'll enjoy the ride. All perspective and all words. Speaking life into other people. Instead of you're a liar, you could say you're mistaken. Instead of maybe to yourself, oh my God, I'm having a panic attack. Oh my God, this is so stressful. This is a little uncomfortable. I'll figure it out. Completely different. Same situation in life, different language, different tonality. You're choosing different. You're seeing an outcome versus enslaving yourself into something. Just be aware of the words that you say. I even catch myself on this. Sometimes I'll be, talking to a friend and I'm just like, oh my God, but you're like, I don't know if I can do, no, stop. I can do this. I'm just having a little bit of trouble. And they're like, ooh, nice reframe. Like we go back and forth on this, like, and they'll call me out on my shit. I'll call them out on their shit. And it's called reframing. It's saying, going from I can't to, oh, I'm just struggling with right now. It's a reframe, and it creates a new possibility. And is this denying or lying to yourself at all? No. Maybe you do have anxiety attacks, and maybe you are on medication for depression, and maybe you are in a certain situation. It's not denying the truth of the situation. Remember from week 2, what are you becoming? I don't want to entrap myself into one definite thing. I want to give myself the opportunity to grow. So instead of I can't, I presently struggle with. Instead of I am becoming. Instead of this is period, this is currently this, but I'm going to figure this out. Like, you guys get the idea, I really hope. You're just creating opportunities. Remember how I said that in the beginning? All I do for you guys is create opportunities, and it's up for you to walk the path. Well, hey, you're on week 9 right now, so you keep walking, and I'm so proud of you for how you're showing up for yourself. And at the same time, you can create opportunities for yourself. You don't need me to do it. This is where you start taking control of your life and saying, okay, this is a roadblock. How can I have an opportunity to get over this? What am I believing? How am I speaking about it? What's my energy around this? And what if it could be easy? What if it could be fun? What if it could be exciting? Because we want a free, loving, exciting, peaceful life. What if it could be loving? What would love do? What would this look like if I could have, how can I have the most peace in this situation? Crazy questions. Oh my God, Kevin, you're blowing my mind. Well, they're just questions. Like, you're choosing an easier way versus how you've always done things or how society is telling us to do things on the hustle grind mentality. Like, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Fuck that. Never doing that again. Ever. There's a time and a place for discipline, but devotion means a lot more, and discernment matters. So have some discernment and be devoted to your new love story. And also taking care of yourself, man. Like, you want to feel good. You want to have peace. You want to feel free and express. You want these feelings about yourself. Because again, I know you want that love story. You want that person, or you want that co-created relationship. That'll happen. Okay, you'll find the person, and then you'll co-create the relationship. The relationship's not something you find; it's something you create. And so you have to also be of capacity to match that other person that you wrote about. So this is just working on you. How could it be easy for you? What if it could be? What if it could be fun and adventurous? And what if it didn't have to be a pity party all the time? Or heavy? What if it did? What if it didn't have to be heavy? What if it could be light? We put a lot of emotional heaviness on things because of the words we use to describe things, or even the thoughts that we have about things. So, there's this whole thing out there, I don't want to feed a negative thought. Hopefully you guys are past that bullshit doing the fucking beginning of this program. Jesus Christ, we covered a lot there. And we definitely went dark for a second. And it's needed because now you've dealt with it, right? And so you see the negative thoughts and you don't fight them or try to shove them away. You love them away, but you also have awareness. And in creating a new experience, you're not lying. to yourself. You're not avoiding those negative thoughts. You're seeing them, and you're choosing which thoughts to believe. It's all. It's just a choice. It's just a choice. And hey, I don't know. It could be easy. 5 people or things a day, including yourself. And then you're also going to have 10-minute meditation or beingness. You also have the tools that I gave you in the last video about asking your heart, and read The Alchemist, maybe.
This video, we're talking all about your body and building a relationship with your body so that you can trust your gut more, because your gut has a direct line to your intuition, and that's what we're on in this week. As we talked about in week 7, we kind of made a amends with your body, and we kickstarted this relationship. And in this video, I'm going to give you guys a ton of tools on how to navigate this relationship, how to mend this relationship, and grow and deepen it. I keep bringing the word up relationship because that's exactly what it is, that listening to what your body's saying. Your body tells you everything you need to know. And this video, we're going to deepen the connection of living in your intuition more of the time, because you're so present in moment-to-moment awareness that you know exactly where you need to go or not go. You need to know exactly what you need to say or not say. And you're just going to be so in alignment and in the flow with the universe, with source, with yourself, because you're living in the present moment, and you're also living in integrity to your intuition. That's the end game. That's the end goal for a lot of this stuff. And that's not even like there's not a there, right? That's a lifelong journey, like a relationship. So you're building the connection now. A lot of the tools that I'm going to talk about in this video are going to take you a while to implement, and that's totally okay. Like this is, no matter where you're at, you just keep holding it with non-judgmental awareness, like we talked about in week 2. And it's just important to clock it, to kind of get aware of what are the pings going on in my body. And we're gonna cover this. I'm also gonna talk about a detox in this video, and if you take me up on it, it's gonna change your life. Quite literally, changed mine. What else are we talking about? Your intuition and your gut. You also have 3 brains or intelligences in your body. That's your head, your intelligence, your heart, your deeper knowing, and your gut, which is your feeling. So your intuition, and I talked about this in some of the other videos, is your just knowing. You just know. There's no fear. There's no hesitation. There's just like this peaceful, like, yep, that's a fact. And you're like, how do you know that? Wait, what? And at the time of me filming this, I'm actually leaving this apartment in just a few days, and I got the intuitive hit a month ago to leave. It didn't make any sense, but I said, if there's one thing that I've learned, is to follow my intuition, especially when it doesn't make sense. And ever since I made that decision, it's become very clear to me why. And I'm really excited for it. And it was just an intuitive hit, and I'm like, cool, I'm gonna trust it, let's go. And it feels right, which is what I'm getting at. Just deepening this whole talk and communication about intuition. My gut was giving me pings the entire time. But I want to mention something, that your gut is not your intuition. Your gut offers feedback about your feelings. Your intuition, you just kind of know. So they're in alignment, but your gut, for the most part, I don't tell people to listen to their gut. I tell people to listen to their heart, which is your intuition. But in this video, we're talking about your gut. Your gut can be off because of trauma. Your gut gives you feedback about feelings you have towards certain things or certain situations. So if there's a traumatic experience that happens somewhere, or with a person, or a familiar situation arises, then you're going to be feeling things in your gut that are going to tell you to get out. But you have the awareness that you have throughout doing the work that we've done in this course to remind yourself of the truth. So a lot of this video, we're talking about accessing your gut feelings and everything. But you also want to have discernment over things and remind yourself of the truth. So it's not one or the other, it's both. And just like doing inner child work, how you're kind of letting your inner child out, but you're also still parenting yourself in a very respectful way, and still you're being responsible, right?
Same is true here with your gut and your intuition. Your intuition is kind of that adult, and your gut's kind of the kid, in a way. But it's very important to build that connection. And again, we get disconnected because of a traumatic experience. So we have trauma, and I talk about this in the overthinking guide. If you guys have not read my overthinking guide, it's in the bonus section in TLA. But I talk about it when we have a traumatic experience, we leave our bodies and go up to your head because it's safe, because your body's not safe anymore and there's so much stress going on, you don't know what to do, so you bounce into your head. And then starts the cycle of overthinking, anxiety, and all the other things that we've been working on. And so as we're kind of dissolving those, it's time to return back into your body. And in week 7, we had a reclamation with your body. So where it's not hate or love, this is just it is. And you're accepting it, and this is going to deepen that connection. You'll actually be able to thank your body because it's your navigation tool through this life. And it allows you to do so many beautiful things, but you don't want to treat it as just something that does things. And that's what I was doing for so long. And so I'm really excited to share this stuff with you guys. Seriously, it took me so long to learn this. Your intuition is the voice of your soul. The gut is the voice of your body. You are a soul living through a body. You have both, so they're both important. It's not one or the other. I already mentioned that. Your North Star, if you will, on all of this is clear, calm, and collected. That's your natural state as a human animal. Clear, calm, and collected, grounded, present. We've lost that because of society and all the stressors that we put on ourselves, and we think that anxious or depressed is normal. So I'm going to get a little scientific on you guys for a second, and you have your sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system. They're the extremes. And you can operate in this middle ground, you'll be fine. There's your clear, calm, collected. You might, pick things up a notch, or you might chill out a little bit, but you're not busting through the walls. In our culture, most people are stuck on, or you're stuck off. Now, if you're stuck on, you are super anxious, your head's always going, you're super tense, you're super stressed. If you're stuck off, you're depressed, you're lackadaisical, it doesn't matter, or you're mute and you're just silent and you don't move. Don't cause any trouble. And a cycle, you can either stay stuck on or you can stay stuck off, or there's a third option where you cycle between the two, where you go so hard that you burn out, and then you burn out and do nothing so long that you get depressed, and then you say fuck it, and you get so high that you burn out again, and then you get so low that you get depressed again, and then it goes up and down. And that's what I lived for years, almost a decade actually. And I didn't even know that was going on. And so again, when we're returning to this connection with your body as we're healing trauma, you also get to heal the connection to your body, heal your nervous system, which houses your emotional home, where you're going to. If anxiety was your emotional home, cool. Or if it still is, okay. Clear, calm, collected, grounded, centered, present, loving. Gets to be your new one because that's your natural state. So we're just returning the body back to its natural state so you can live in that present moment. And there is going to be an identity shift, which if you think back to earlier in the course, I think it was week 2, I am becoming. This is where we get to actually become that. Because real change is changing your nervous system. It's not changing your mindset. It's not, because your nervous system controls your mindset to some extent. It's not changing your habits, although that does have an impact. If you change your being, how you're showing up, which we talked about in the beginning of this course, you kind of change everything as a byproduct. Your nervous system is that point. So it's super important to stay in this connection with your body. Now, we're wanting to regulate your nervous system. So it's not, you're super anxious, cool, let me do all these things to numb myself and bring myself all the way down to that extreme. Or you're this extreme and you want to hype yourself up and get super pumped and super, woo, let's go! And you're just always on. It's not good either. Middle ground. Both. And with that, eating, nutrition is really important. You have so many cells in your body, and they're all communicating with each other, and they all have their own ecosystem, and it's all one ecosystem. And so there's so much going on. And then we also eat frequently. And so when we eat, we're giving our body new information and new tools, and it distributes that. And so there's so much going on in the body all the time that food is a really important part of this process with regulating your nervous system. A lot of it is kind of mindset, perspective. We've covered that. Heart, we did a lot of that with the cathartic release on week 5, and inner child work of really just showing more compassion. Now we're dropping it down into your gut, into your and actually allowing your body to heal itself, because it does and it can. Your nutrition plays a big role, and you guys are going to get some nutrition advice from your boy, because I used to be a group fitness instructor, personal trainer, all the things. Would always give nutrition advice, and I always kept it super fucking simple, and it pissed people off because I wouldn't give anybody a nutrition plan, because your body knows best. And I want to give you guys the overall structure for things. Number 1, if it came from nature, it's probably good. If it came from a factory, you probably don't want to eat it a lot. But there's a rule called the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time you're on point. 20% of the time you can kind of have fun and do your thing. If you want to cheat, have a donut. But that's not even a cheat. Just don't do it all the time, right? But here's the thing with intuitive eating 101. You want to clock, how does my body feel 30 minutes after eating something and 2 hours after eating something? Because when what you're trying to do is you're just trying to get in a sense of what did that do to your body. You don't want to be too lax and too heavy or foggy. You also don't want to be too hyper and too crazy, too anxious. Because again, if you're thinking sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system, you're not clear, calm, collected. You almost want this just lightness, this, you're energized and you're focused, but you're not like over the top, right? A slight lift in energy, a slight lift of how you're feeling in your body is what you're going for. And you're trying things. So like maybe you eat a meal and you had some cheese and you're like, okay, I'm feeling like bloated and kind of lethargic. So let me tomorrow not have cheese with that meal and see what's up. Oh, I still feel that way. Cool, maybe it's something else, right? So having some sort of pattern to your nutrition here is also going to be important. I know that's hard for some people, but just as much as you can, so that you can kind of get clear on what your body likes and what it doesn't. Just like a relationship. What do they like? What do they don't? What are all their little quirks and pings? That's what you're building with yourself. And so that happens through your food and intuitive eating. I talked about never getting too lax, addictions is another one. So when you are addicted to sugar or caffeine or any substance, it's not a craving. Those are two different things. Breaking an addiction, especially sugar, is you want to replace, if you're having like donuts and chocolate and all that stuff, you can have it. Like I fucking ate donuts the other day. But again, if it's an addiction, you know, right? So replace that sugar with fruit. That's going to be not the same at all, but it's going to be helpful in the transition, so you're not just quitting cold turkey. I would also say if you're having cravings or if you're in an addictive cycle, have a huge glass of water right before. Or if you think you're hungry and you're like, I just ate, what the heck? Drink a huge glass of water, because your body doesn't recognize sometimes when it's thirsty or when it's hungry. So drink a glass of water, wait that 30 minutes, and if you're still hungry, you still have a craving, cool, like give in a little bit, that's okay. But again, like you want to allow yourself to have fun. So don't think of things as black and white, and don't shame yourself because you had a donut. You're enjoying your life, right? It gets to be fun. Or you binged, right? Let go of the control and trust that your body has the awareness. Again, just like we talked about in week 7, put the focus on feeling confident. This one, put the focus on feeling light and energized, that clear, centered place. Here's an interesting one. When you sigh, like you're eating and then take a deep breath, that means you're full. Your gut just told your body that you're full. And it takes a while for your brain to recognize that you're full and for that to actually feel what that feels like. So most of us eat so fast and we just shove all the food in our face and we're like, oh my God, I'm so full. If you eat slower, and the more that you can bring your awareness to this, when you sigh, you're actually full. Your stomach is full. And it won't expand because your stomach can expand if needed, right? And when you sigh, that's the stomach starting to expand. So you want to stop at that point, and that's the right amount of food that you need. And again, you won't recognize that if you're eating fast and shoving food down your face. Like, slow down, enjoy your food, block out time to eat. That's a huge one. Especially, I used to be a workaholic, and I would always like eat while I'm like on the computer and doing all the things. And I'm like, now I block out that time on my calendar, a whole 30 minutes if I need, and I'm just cool, disconnect. Let me cook some food. Let me like sit with myself and be with this meal. And we get to enjoy those pleasures, right? And food is another is a pleasure. It's a form of pleasure. So allow yourself that. It's not just fuel and this thing that you put in your body so it can work, right? It's treating it with a little bit more care and sacredness. That's intuitive eating 101. If you guys have questions on that, hit me up in the comments below, post in the Facebook group or the Marco Polo. I'll be there for you guys. But I wanted to give you a brief overview so I can help. Now, another thing when we're talking about your body is sleep. There's a guy, if you want to research him, he's called the Sleep Doctor. He actually has a bunch of different stuff out there, like YouTube videos, TED Talks and stuff that helped me out a lot. I didn't dive deep into his work, but it was important to know he classifies people. I think there's 3 or 4 categories that he classifies people in your rhythms, your biorhythms of your body on when you should be waking up, when you're most effective, quote unquote, in terms of focus. And that some people are, night owls, but they're waking up in the morning to go to a job and they're just brain dead. And it's not good for your body. So you want to honor and respect your body's biological clock. And there's stuff in there. Again, his name is the Sleep Doctor. I just want to mention that briefly, even though it is largely important. We talked about in the video in the beginning of the course with your daily routine. I talked a little bit about a nightly routine. It's really important to just have that buffer of the nightly routine, the morning routine, so you can get proper sleep. Because if you don't have proper sleep, that's when your body repairs itself. Your muscles, your brain, they all repair themselves when you're sleeping. And if you're not sleeping well, or if you're not sleeping enough, you're not repairing, so then you're constantly just beating your body up. So it's really important to get good sleep. And there's tons of stuff out there on it. I don't want to talk too much on it, but make sure there's not a lot of noise, as dark as possible in the room, as comfortable and cozy as you want, because your body knows best. And a lot of it is just letting go of your mind and relaxing, right? So when you deal with stressors in life and a lot of these other things, like your food matters, and some of the other stuff I'm going to be talking about in this video, it'll help you sleep better as you're working on building this connection. It's not all external stuff. It could also be in your body, right? Because if you have stressors in your body and tension in your body, you're not going to be able to go to sleep. So we're going to release those too here in a little bit. Some of those tensions, and I want to talk about where all this comes from, because if you got tension and buildup in your gut. So we're talking about your colon, your large intestine, small intestine. If that is tense, it's because you're worrying, you're overthinking, you're stressing, you're not trusting, you're anxious, all these things. It's non-needingness, like we talked about in week 2, needing, breath, voice, body, getting it out. If you're not, you're contracting in your gut. So your belly and your intestines are literally contracting. And that can cause a lot of problems like IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, constipation, diarrhea, the whole 9. And that tension, more than anything, it causes bloating, which will literally, if you think about it, it just basically you put a balloon in your stomach, and that's going to pull on all the muscles that are around your waist, which will pull on your back, which will also mess up your hips and do some other stuff with there, because your SI joint, your hips is flexible, and if you've got so much pressure, or even just an uncomfort, it's gonna there's so many nerves down there that it's gonna signal a lot of stress to your brain. So stress sometimes is just caused through the body, and you're holding on to shit, literally. And this is where the video gets a little fun, because we're talking about shit and your colon, because that's your gut, mind you. We talked a lot about food and sleep, which is going to help with the digestive process. And if you're not digesting food, I want to backtrack real fast. If you're not digesting your food, you're not absorbing the nutrients. And so how do you absorb the nutrients of your food? That's getting good greens in, that's doing things like cleansing or even fasting could help. So just play around with stuff there. I mean, I've done stuff like, 48-hour fasts and things, basically to reset your whole system. It's really tough. But you want to give your gut those probiotics and prebiotics that are going to help digest the food so you actually absorb it into your body instead of just goes in one hole and out the other, right? So with your body connection, I talked about slowing down. It's a huge thing for a lot of us. Just slow down and pay attention. Slow down the chatter in your brain. Just pay attention to the feelings. That's why the morning routine and why I had you guys do that was prime for this. How does it feel to breathe? Stretching. Ooh, what's tight? Meditating. What am I really thinking about? Right? All of that stuff was starting this, and now we're just really kind of magnifying it a lot. Notice, this is the biggest thing. This is somatic healing. This is everything of building this relationship with your body faster, and really truly listening, which is how you build a relationship, right? Notice all of the sensations in your body. So I want you to try something with me, and wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, if you can close your eyes. If you're driving, don't do that. But if you can close your eyes for a second. Just take a deep breath. Let it go. Do that one more time. Take a deep breath in. And let it go. And I want you to just feel what your hands feel like. Don't move anything. Just be aware of your hands. Are they like tense? Are they tingling? Are they just normal? Are they warm? I want you to be aware of your feet. Have you been aware of your feet today? Are your feet crammed in your shoes? I want you to feel what your hips feel. Is there like pain in your lower back or tightness in your joints? Just feel it. I want you to feel what your stomach, your gut feels like. And now I want you to notice your breath. Are you breathing shallow or full? Okay. That's an experience of the sensations in your body. But when they make a radical shift, like all of a sudden you get super tense or all of a sudden you get super relaxed, is usually when we notice it. But as you build this relationship, you become super aware of your body and the sensations in your body. That just magnifies, and you'll be able to know if you're tense anywhere. So something that I did when I was really building this relationship, and something I still do, by the way, is called a lying down body scan release. I literally lay on the floor vertically, consciously breathe for 3 minutes, like the breath work that you guys do. Or I'll do this if I'm just sitting down somewhere, like having a good time. I'm very aware with my body. So I'll just be aware of is there anywhere tense in my body? Because sometimes I'm laying down and I think I'm just laying down, relaxing, and then I almost bring this wave of consciousness, of energy, just intention through my body and relax my muscles more. And most of the time I'll notice my neck kind of like falls a little bit, or my hands relax a little bit when I start breathing a little bit deeper. Because what we think is relaxed is actually like only level 80 out of 100, because we're so used to being tense. And so having that awareness of things has really been helpful for me. And that's something that I want you guys to do. Like, actually, you can pause the video now and do it, or just be aware of it now. If you're sitting down, are you tense anywhere? Could you relax just a little bit more? Anything? Could you relax a little bit more? Now, while you're relaxed, can you breathe deep? and look around. Like literally look around at your environment. You're safe. When you take a deep breath, not on command, that's your nervous system relaxing because you finally told yourself you're safe. Like you told your body you're safe, and your body understood it because you're relaxed and you were looking around in your environment. You're not under danger, and so you can chill. Pretty cool, huh? And that's how you can regulate your nervous system, especially if you're stuck on. Now, if you're stuck off, doing things like cold showers, doing things like getting out of your head, and so using your voice, using your body and movement are going to help bring you up. So if you're stuck on and you're super anxious and super high energy all the time and stressed, overwhelm, what I just showed you guys of that somatic sensations in your body and relaxing and look around and, oh, I'm safe. If you're stuck off, it's expressing yourself in a more movement, not crazy movement, let's go, but more movement is gonna help, right? So just lift it up a few, percent, like 20, 30%, and see what that does. A lot of this too is just a pattern. We're so used to being stuck on or stuck off, or we're so used to being anxious and stressed. Again, that's just a pattern. So you stay present with yourself to redefine it by having awareness of what's going on in my body. Ooh, I'm really bloated right now, or oh my God, I really need to breathe. Respect yourself enough to give it to yourself. No more sacrificing yourself because of what's going on. You got to, oh, well, I'm in this place and I don't want to disrespect other people, or I don't want to make them feel weird or upset. Go to the restroom and do what you need to do. Like, look yourself in the mirror, do some mirror work, breathe, whatever it takes. And you can always come back, right? This stuff doesn't take hours. It's in the moment to moment awareness, but you just have to be aware, right? And again, bringing it back to your intuition, your gut can tell you, I'm not supposed to be in this room. Your gut can tell you, nope, don't talk to that person. Or your gut can give you, butterflies in your stomach. And you have that ping in your heart. Listen to that stuff because your body knows best. Your body is the way of living in integrity with yourself. And so we're so heady in society that we try to make it make sense. It doesn't make sense, and I don't think it's supposed to, because it's guiding you. Just listen to it. Just trust it. And in terms of rebuilding self-trust, talked about this in breakup recovery. So if you haven't gotten breakup recovery yet, get it. There's a free download for it in the bonus section in this course. There's a video about rebuilding self-trust towards the end. It doesn't have anything to do with breakups, but it's a really good one about just building self-trust. And so I would encourage you to watch that if you're really struggling with listening and trusting yourself. I think you're doing pretty good, though, because you've made it to week 9 now in this course. So there's that. Awesome. So I noticed that I was going to give you guys a detox. That's what I want to talk about next. There's a quote that I heard. It's true and it's not, but I thought it was pretty cool. And it goes along with what we're talking about. That you got to clean your gut before you can listen to it. It's like, yeah. Because if your gut's all clogged up, it's going to be hard to listen to. It's going to be hard to have that discernment. So, you got to clear it. Now, this analogy was used to me like this. So, you're not a balloon. You don't have one hole. You've got two. Your mouth and your butt. And your digestive system absorbs all the nutrients, goes in one, out the other. Right? Cool. So, if your mouth doesn't really ever shut, the bottom does, in your colon, there can be a lot of problems. And this is where most people, again, with constipation or IBS and other things, if the bottom's clogged, think of it like a sink. Like if I had a sink and I put the drainer on and started filling it up with water, and I was doing dishes, and I'm cleaning dishes, and then, it's the same murky, muddy water, right? And I keep cleaning the dishes with that same water, and I turn the water off. It's just the same water. It's not going anywhere. It starts to fill up, and it's just I'm not really even cleaning the dishes at that point because I'm using dirty water to try to clean the dishes. It's not effective. That's digestion. But then all this water is murky, and I go, okay, cool. I need to clean this water. You know what? I'm gonna go on a detox. So let me like take all these supplements, and I'm gonna clean this water up. So you take all the supplements, or you get the dishwasher soap and put it all in the sink. It's not gonna clean the water. Where does water have to go? It has to go down the drain. It has to go out. And the same is true with your body. If you're doing like stuff like colon cleanses or detoxing and all these other things, and you have trouble with your colon, and you're not regular in terms of when you use the restroom and other things, it's going to cause a lot of problems in terms of stress, because it's going to block up, it's going to bulge up, you're going to get bloated, and a lot of stuff too. I didn't recognize that I was bloated until after I cleared. I'll show you how, but I had no idea that I was bloated or had any pain there because I was just so used to it, right? And let me tell you, after I cleared my drain, I removed that plug, I was so much lighter and so much clearer and so much more connected to my body, and my mood was what? My skin cleared, and I had no more lower back pain. I had lower back pain for so fucking long. And it was because, again, getting graphic here, my colon was enlarged because there was some backed up shit. Even though I was shitting every day, it was, your colon works with like pockets, and so it was just inflamed, right? And it was protruding one way and pulling the muscles that were connected to my back, and so my back was always out, or it was always in pain. And I had another injury and there was some other stuff, but that was a major part of it. And changed my fucking life. So again, I said that this part of the video is going to get a little weird, but I really want to talk about this because it changed my life, and I care about you guys. And if you really want to clear your channel, be able to listen to your gut more, I want to offer you a cleanse. Here's some of the benefits of this cleanse. You can have more effective digestion, better energy, better nutrient absorption. You get better focus and improved concentration. You can kickstart your metabolism and actually start losing weight again. If you were on a plateau, you can increase your fertility and your sex drive goes up. You have a healthier pH in your bloodstream, which means you'll have basically more energy. It improves your overall well-being. You'll clear up your skin if you have any acne and any skin problems. And overall, you'll just be in a better mood. Sounds like the right cleanse to go on, because there's so much like cleanse this, the juice cleanse and a fast and like all these cleanses and all these supplements that are relieving toxins. But you got to think about it. Where are the toxins? Say it's your kidneys or whatever, or your liver. Those toxins are going into your colon and then to be expelled from your body. And if your colon is having problems, you can't. So it's not necessarily being as effective as it could, and it's just causing more problems. Because again, think of the sink example that I gave. You're just, oh, here's some toxins. Let me remove some toxins from this bowl that I had and put them in the water. This bowl's somewhat more clean, but the water still is murky, dirtier, right? So, I mean, there's no really fun way to talk about this, but colonics, which is basically getting a tube up your butt and they shove water up there to drain you. Have you ever taken a fat shit and it feels so good? You're like, oh my God, wow. You feel lighter, right? It's like that, but for all the old stuff that you don't even know you have. And again, these are all the benefits. That's what it can do for you. I was very fortunate to find a really experienced colonic, or I don't even know what you would call them, somebody that's been doing it for 55 years, and she was amazing. I had a few sessions and again, changed my life. I was so hesitant to it. I had heard a lot of my friends talk about getting colonics, and a lot of people in the coaching industry were talking about it and some other stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know if I want that. That doesn't sound pleasant. But it really got to the point where I was like, you know, like, again, I just kind of trusted my intuition and I was like, you know what, let me at least try it. I want to have that experience. And I'm into health. I was into biohacking a lot at the time, so I was just basically like playing with the energy in your cells. And I'm like, well, look, if this is the benefits, obviously it's helpful. So let me just clear some shit out. I made a huge shift in my life. I wanted the old out, literally, all the beliefs and everything. And I had no idea how much it would actually help me. So that's your homework for this video, is to implement the intuitive eating guidelines. Mainly, how does my body feel? 30 minutes, 20 minutes, and just constantly, how does my body feel right now? What do I need? What does my body need? Giving yourself that. Doing things like the lying down scan. Also researching more on sleep. The sleep doctor is going to help you out a lot. And this is 100% optional, but highly recommended that you go get a colonic. At least have the experience. I know it's awkward because they're putting a tube in your butt, but get past that and just look at the health benefits. Look what it's going to do of like clearing your system. You're going to feel so energized and literally feel like a new person. After having gone through the experiences you went through in TLA, like if you actually want to integrate feeling clear and get that shit out, literally get that shit out, then get a colonic. They're in all major cities if you want to research it. It's something like, I mean, I paid my lady, she was like $98 or something like that for a session. And again, I didn't realize how much it would help me. So you can research on it if you want. Again, it's very highly recommended that you do this right now because we're clearing the old. You're making way for the new. We're on week 9 and it's kind of like bittersweet because the course is soon over. And so you really want to integrate all the shifts that you've made and shit it out, right? No more. But yeah, this is going to help build the connection to your body. You're going to release that tension that's up in your colon, and your colon is your gut. So when you clear your gut, you'll be a lot clearer. You'll have a clear channel to where you'll hear the voice of your gut, or the pings in your body, the voice of your body, a lot louder, which is a good thing because that's how you navigate and shift through the moment awareness of life. And that's being present. That's living in integrity. That's everywhere you go. There's not this worry or fear of, am I doing the right thing or what should I be doing? Because you trust yourself enough and you know where you should be going, right? That is body connection. That's how I've connected to my body over the years. Some of the stuff that helped me out tremendously. And also just overall kindness and compassion to myself in my workouts. Just not redlining it every single time, you know, and that's glorified in the fitness industry. But I now go about 70%, and then I have fun and goof off and modify if I need to. But like, there was an analogy that was, I think it was on a Joe Rogan podcast, and talked about how this guy was like, you know, if you can't do 11 pull-ups, right? You cannot do 11. 10 is the max. If I held a gun to your face, you could not do 11. And you do 10 pull-ups, but on that same day, I do 5. You're not going to be able to do pull-ups the next day. Guess what? I'm going to do my 5. Then the next day, you'll probably be able to do 2 or 3. I'm going to do my 5. And space that out, right? I've done more reps than you over the long run. And then, you know, when I'm done with 5, I'll move it up to 6, and I'll move it up to 7. Eventually, I'm making progress, and you're over here doing this, is how he was explaining it. And that made so much sense to me, of not redlining it in my workouts because it's the tough thing to do and no pain, no gain and all these things. And that injured me. And so now I'm like, I go about 70%. I have fun with it. I push myself, but I don't push myself to depletion or where I can't do another every time because it'll cause joint pain and a bunch of other stuff that's no bueno. So just overall compassion for my body and kindness has helped me out tremendously in building this connection. And I hope that you guys can take some of these tools and implement them. Again, if you get a colonic, like, you know, obviously I don't have to talk about the experience because it's a little weird and awkward, but I would love to hear if the shifts that you've had, like if your energy improved, your mood improved, anything like that, because I'm a huge advocate. All of my friends have gone because of me, and they are advocates now. It's absolutely wild, and it sounds weird if you've never heard of them before, but there really is something to be said about clearing out your colon. Not a lot of people do it, right? And you see people that are just bloated and not necessarily fat, but just bloated. And can clear up a lot. Because if, I've talked too much about it now, but if you got shit in your colon, literally, you're going to be anxious, you're going to be depressed, you're going to parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system's going to be whack, and it ain't good. So clear your gut to hear your gut. That's been this video and connecting with your body. Let me know in the Marco Polo how this helped you, and give yourself compassion, give yourself time, give yourself that presence with yourself, because this homework assignment and even the tools that I gave is unlike any of the others in the course, and that I really want you to just stay present with it. And it's a lifelong thing, because even as you age, things change, right? So like, this is a backbone for a lot of what I do and how I respect myself. I go to my body first, not my mindset, not what I want, my body. And I honor that because that's my beingness, as we talked about in week 2.